Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. Today is the first installment of a new series that I will be doing this year. As some of you may know, my mom and I have season tickets to the Straz Center, which is like the local theater in Tampa. So we get to see all sorts of musicals and some plays. So I decided this year, why don't I take you guys along with us, behind the scenes look of what I do beforehand, and then give you a little review of the musical that we go see. If you absolutely despise musicals, then this series is not going to be for you, and that's okay. So it's currently 10:41, and we were supposed to be leaving at 10:45, but I am not dressed, which bodes an issue, and I have to finish my makeup. So let me do that real quick. The reason I'm a little short on time is I did have my mom try to French braid my hair. There you go. Which we were pretty successful. That was not too bad. It looks good enough. I can barely tell I put any blush. That's okay. I'm running out of time, so I gotta get dressed. Can I get the smoky pepper jack turkey? But can I, instead of the honey mustard, can I have mayonnaise?
And what side would you
like? Mac and cheese.
Pickle sandwich?
No thank you. Yeah, so I didn't get it before, but that's the aftermath of McAllister's run. So our tickets are for the 2 p.m. show, so we always go out for lunch beforehand, so that's where we're at McAllister's. And yeah, so now we're at the theater, like an hour before the show starts, so the doors aren't open. So we're just chilling in the lobby. Mom's fixing my shoe. Afterwards, we met up with my dad and my husband for dinner. This was round one of the all-you-can-eat riblets, boneless wings, and fried shrimp. This was round 3, not filmed was rounds 2 and 4. So we're going to give her our review without giving any spoilers, and our rating from 1 to 10. 10 being the best musical we've ever seen, and 1 being the worst. So the first thing that I will say that we both agreed on is it was a little hard to understand everyone.
Yes. The enunciation in the singing was not... Basically, none of those people have ever worked at Disney. Because whenever you hear anybody sing from Disney, they enunciate and pronounce all the words and you can understand everything perfectly. And this I found was a little hard to understand in some of the lyrics. And even in the speaking too, part of it was they would speak so quickly that you couldn't quite get everything that they were saying.
I will say the one thing, I was a little worried. I didn't have much knowledge on Tina Turner, and I thought that this musical did do a really good job of briefly, for the allotted time that they had, they filled a lot about her life in it, from her beginning, her childhood, when she met Ike Turner, and that whole story, and then even after that. It was a good synopsis of her entire life in a very short amount of time.
Right. And even though I knew some of those, I kind of knew the basic story, I did think that they covered that part very well, because they really, they didn't dwell on anything, but they covered everything. So you really kind of got a feel for where she came from and where she ended up.
Yeah. What we found out is that they have 2 people that play Tina that are on the cast. But with that, the girl that we did see was phenomenal.
She was excellent.
Yeah. There's no other words to describe it. It was phenomenal. The other thing that I really liked is they didn't have a big set, but what they did is they had like a constant screen in the background that had the it was very abstract.
Yes.
Of like what it was, because you could tell like at one point that they were like outside. There was a tree.
Yes.
You could tell it was a tree, but it wasn't like a tree.
Right.
So I thought that was really cool, and it made it.
And then when they were doing, so if you know the story, Ike Turner did drugs, as most people in music back then did, and so there's psychedelic stuff in the back, which is kind of very very 60s looking screen in the back, which was kind of cool.
So it really added to it, and it didn't without taking any pieces away.
Right.
I think the best part is they roll the drummer on stage, and then this curtain comes down, and it came down directly on top of the drummer. I guess they needed to push him a little further.
So, the guy's drumming, going like this. Like, getting the curtain off of him. Looking at the other guy laughing.
That was quite funny.
That was funny.
But no, overall, I loved it. It was great.
When she started singing all her songs, and it was all the stuff she was famous for. And so to hear them and to hear her have that gritty, she had that grittiness in her voice. So, and it was done, and I was kind of like, I'm kind of sad that I have to go now. Because it was good. It was good. In the ending, I came out of there and all I could say was, wow. Because it was, when you go through her whole story, it's not a happy story, but I can just say that the ending was wow.
So Howard, on a scale of 1 to 10.
I know. I'm kind of thinking what I want to give it. I would not give it a 10, only because it wasn't necessarily my most favorite thing that I've seen. Like a 9, 8, 9, somewhere in the 8, 9 range. And mainly because if all the enunciation was great, I think I definitely would have given it a 9. No, I'll just give it a 9. Why not?
See, I was gonna give it an 8. It was it was so good that at the end, anytime she opened her mouth, it gave me chills. But the end, just chills. Just the impact that ending had. Oh, the ending of it is fantastic.
Yes.
fantastic.
Yes.
Again, no spoilers
And
on
that's
this
why
channel.
you're just giving it an 8?
Well, yeah. Well, I wouldn't give it a 9.
Yes.
I wasn't going to give it a 7 because really
Yeah,
the
see,
dictation of it was really...
You know what? I really need to give it I'm going to give it an 8. I can't really give it a 9, but I can give it an 8.
Because the dictation really, or the, like, it was a little bit hard to understand some of them. You understood the story in the end.
Yeah, you did get the story.
But
there was, and there was some coolness in the whole play.
So it's one of those where, yeah.
You have to pay attention.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
So for those reasons, I mean, I wouldn't give it, exactly, I wouldn't give it necessarily, if you could understand everything, I would have given it a 9,
yes.
for sure.
Yes, for sure.
But I think for that reason, I mean, it gave you all the chills that you needed to get in a musical and more.
Yes.
The singing was phenomenal.
Yes.
The acting was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
If it's ever in your town and you have the chance to go see it.
I would say go see it.
Yes, we would say go see it.
I mean, the costumes are really cool
and you don't need to know much about her. You don't need to know much of her music. We will put a warning label that if you do go see it, you were warned. There is some strong language in it.
Yes, there is. Not overdone.
Yeah, we didn't think it was like over the top.
It was, and I hate to say inappropriate in the places that it was. It was not, it wasn't like sometimes you go to a movie and you're just like, why are they speaking like that? Nobody talks like that.
Yeah.
That much, but it was enough.
Yeah. And you have to remember, like, the time that it's technically set in, so you'll hear words that are currently not allowed or acceptable
at all.
So at least here's your warning if you do see it that there is some foul language, but again, it's not like over the top. So in this series, you'll see a lot of my mom. There is there's only currently one musical on the docket that I'm seeing without her and with other people, so you will see other people in this series. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time for our next musical, which is
Chicago.
Until then, bye.